And here we go on this Monday. It is the first day of August 2022, 6 p.m. straight up. You are in the midst of Real Talk Memphis. Glad to have you with us. I am your humble host, Chip Washington. I'm glad to be here. I hope you had a good week. Did you enjoy the rain we had over the weekend? Had a lot of rain yesterday, so we've been complaining about it. We needed it, and we got it. Today was a nice day on the back end of it. Not too warm, but it's August, okay? So understand that it's going to be hot again this week, maybe after tomorrow. We're going to be seeing temperatures back in the mid to upper 90s, heat indices close to 110 degrees. You know the song, right? Same song, different day. So just be careful out there in the heat. We have a pretty good show for you tonight. If all the stars are aligned and everything is working out well, we should do okay. Don't know if we're going to have Facebook Live tonight. We're going to see if we can try to set it up. I'm not sure if we can. But if not, there's always different ways to catch this fine piece of radio broadcasting. How? You can hear us live right now on 91.7 on your FM dial, WYXR. You can also go to the WYXR.org website and hear us live right now. We are also on the TuneIn app live right now. And, well, I'm reserving the usual, you can catch us on Facebook Live line because I don't know how that's going to work tonight. But we are going to repost the show on YouTube a little bit later on tonight or tomorrow. And we are a podcast. And as a podcast, when they post the show tomorrow, you can catch us wherever you get your podcast. All right? All right. So, talked about the weather. It was very, very nice. Good to have some rain over the weekend, a very nice Monday. And as I said a few minutes ago, we're going to have a pretty good show for you tonight. We're going to talk about a variety of issues, as we generally do on this show. Pat Mitchell-Worley is going to join us a bit later on in the show, about 6:30-ish or so, to talk about being named the new president and CEO of the Soulsville Foundation. We're going to find out how she feels about that and how she's looking forward. Also, we're going to speak to Reverend Ayanna Watkins. She is the executive director and lead organizer of MICA. We're going to talk, and they're a social justice organization here in the city, and we're going to talk about what MICA is doing and some of the changes they'd like to see in terms of the criminal justice area and things like that. So that should be pretty interesting. And later on in the second half hour, we're going to speak to Dr. Kendricks Hooker. Now, who is he? He's the vice president of Academic Affairs for Tennessee Southwest Community College, and they have launched a new program for a 2-year college that no one in the state of Tennessee has. I'm going to reserve all of that. That's a little bit of a tease. I'm going to reserve all that for coming up in just a little bit. We'll explain that in the second half hour. But as always, we are going to salute you. You know, when you're born, there's a reason for you to be born. And if you're still here, there's a reason for you to be still here. And we like to celebrate that here on the big radio broadcast. It is called the Shout Out. And we give you the birthday shout outs, make you feel good. And if your friends are out there listening, they can check it out as well. But we can't do that until I say, hit it, Lola. Happy birthday! Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Going out to Melinda White. Tony Bologna is celebrating today, as is Lisa Catron. Danny Sidney Jr., happy birthday to you. Tiffany T-Salt, happy birthday. Desiree Hunter. Crystal Tate. Judy Stewart Alderson is celebrating today, as is Boris Thomaser. Bishop Matthew Jordan. Ann Farrell Snowden. Cynthia Bowen, is celebrating today. Annette Patrick, an old friend of mine, she's celebrating her birthday today, as is Chris, not Chip, Chris Washington. He's celebrating today. Tamara Levy, and my old television news colleague, Audrey Garrett, is celebrating her birthday today. So to each and every one of you, if today is your birthday, or your birthday's coming up this week, or you had one this past week or the weekend, happy belated, happy upcoming, and we hope the Lord lets us be here this time next year so we can celebrate your trip around the sun all over again. Cheers to everybody. Thanks, Logan. Okay, so in news and notes, we had a couple of well-known folks leave us yesterday. Basketball legend Bill Russell died yesterday. He was 88 years old, 11-time NBA champion, MVP, was a man who was very much of a leader in the social justice movement back in the day. Just an avalanche of condolences to him, on his passing. He was a very, very well thought of man who cared more about you than he cared about himself, and that's being selfless, not selfish. We also found out later on yesterday that Nichelle Nichols, now I don't know if you're as old as me, but Nichelle Nichols played Lieutenant Uhura on the Star Trek, the original Star Trek. She died yesterday at the age of 89. Now, I think William Shatner, he's still alive, and he's like 91, 92. But she was, I guess, the first black, female in a role like that. And, all of us had crushes on her back in the day because she was, I used to wear those little short outfits, kind of like when Lola comes in sometimes. Anyway. Well, anyway, our sincere condolences to the passing of those well-known personalities. So there is some follow-up in terms of Pastor Reverend Dr. Eason Williams' death a couple of weeks ago. The 3 15-year-olds who were involved in charge with first-degree murder were in court today, looking for a decision as to whether they're going to be tried as adults or they're not, or they're going to, stay in the juvenile court system. Well, the judge delayed his ruling on that today. He said he was giving the attorneys more time to collect their documentation. So, we'll see how it plays out. But that's the big question. The big question is, and I asked you guys this before, what do you think? Do you think these 3 15-year-olds should be tried as an adult, or should they go through the juvenile court system? There's a lot of passion on both sides of this particular issue. So we'll see how it all breaks out. Now, speaking of Reverend Dr. Artura Eason Williams, her funeral arrangements have been made. Tomorrow, there will be a wake for her at a funeral home in West Memphis. I'm sure you can go to any one of the sites to find out exactly where that is. That goes on tomorrow. And then her funeral will be Wednesday at 10 a.m. at St. Paul United Methodist Church in Lakeland. So if you want to pay your respects, to her in that situation, please feel free to do so. I mentioned the heat a few minutes ago. Well, it's still blazing in pretty much most of the country, but on the back end of that, there have been several places that have seen some extraordinary flooding. Now, out west, it's so hot, wildfires are raging from California all the way into, up to Washington State and Oregon, California. They are really going through it as far as wildfires are concerned because it's been so dry out there. As far as a little bit further east, maybe east of the Mississippi, we've heard a lot about flooding. Flash flooding is a big issue in Kentucky in particular. The state has so far confirmed 35 people have died as a result of flooding the last couple of days, and they say that there's a lot of folks still missing. So prayers up to the folks out there in the state of Kentucky, because it's a bad situation. Let's see here. By the way, today was the first day of school for the school teachers, the Memphis City and Shelby County schools. Teachers returned to the classroom today, which means that the young folks will be back 1 week from today. So school officially starts for the kids next Monday. But for the teachers, they are back and getting ready to go. Did you know that today began Tennessee Grocery Tax State Holiday for the entire month of August? That's right. You can save on dairy, produce, and other things like that. But the exemptions, let me just give the exemptions. The exemptions that don't fall under that are alcohol, prepared food, tobacco, diet supplements, and candy. I mean, still a pretty good deal. There's a lot you can buy with that. I mean, so get out there, and it's like I said, it's a tax-free holiday on the groceries for the entire month. So take advantage of that particular situation. And speaking of, there is a big election coming up in 3 days. Thursday is election day. So you didn't early vote? Well, prepare to find some long lines, I'm pretty sure, on the day of the election, which is Thursday. You can't help but see signs every which way. And I don't know if there's going to be any major upsets, but I think the race I'm looking at is the district attorney's race. I think that could be relatively interesting. And with all of the issues pertaining to car tags and things like that, a race that was not considered to be close might be a bit closer for Wanda Halbert. But we will see how that goes. Now, speaking of the car tags, the clerk's office says that he has finally caught up with the backlog and has started to process and ship more than 8,000 plates that are now ready for delivery to the Shelby County mailroom. Okay, I'll give you my address off air because I haven't gotten mine yet. All right, so we need to take care of that business because I don't feel like getting stopped. But they say things are slowly moving. The tires are slowly moving through the mud. So hopefully in the next few weeks, we will all be happy, the ones who need these brand new plates. But the blame game still continues. Wanda Halbert had a press conference a couple days ago, and she's still, knocking the mayor's office and the county commissioners because they kind of slapped her wrist and about all this. But it's been a bit frustrating. So hopefully things are on the right track. It was something else I was going to say, but I can't remember what it was, so I won't say it. But I will say that we are going to take our first break. And when we come back, we're going to get things kicked off. We're going to talk a little bit about the condition of our city in terms of crime when we speak to the executive director of MICA, Reverend Ayanna Watkins. This is Real Talk Memphis. I am Chip. You know who you are, and we will be right back. Huh? Nobody's. Oh. Hello, Ayanna, you there?
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
The FedEx St. Jude Championship celebrates 65 years of professional golf in Memphis with a new event that brings the heart of our hometown to TPC Southwind. This year's tournament features the launch of the Soul in One celebration, a festival showcasing Memphis culture, music, food, makers, and more. The event kicks off Wednesday, August 10th at 11 a.m. on Tournament Drive and includes live music from Marcella and Her Lovers, The Privilege, Stax Music Academy, and Brandon Lewis, along with WYXR DJs, as well as a local craft foods market and a family sports activity zone provided by Nike.
For more information, visit FedExChampionship.com.
The next round of our collaboration beers with Crosstown Brewing Company is ready. Take a walk down the tart end of the street, where soul music meets a fruity and flavorful sour beer with notes of pineapple, peach, and apricot. You can find the beer at grocery stores and other local Crosstown Brewing Company retailers. A portion of the proceeds goes towards helping WYXR and supporting community radio in Memphis. Visit crosstownbeer.com for more information.
The Orpheum Broadway season presents Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird, August 16th through the 21st. Aaron Sorkin's stage adaptation is directed by Bartlett Sher. Richard Thomas will play the role of Atticus Finch in this Broadway national tour. For more information, visit orpheum-memphis.com. The University of Memphis is proud to be a founding partner of WYXR. They are hiring technicians, electricians, plumbers, custodians, and HVAC mechanics. The job fair is in the ballroom on the U of M campus on July 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Free parking is available in the Zach Curlin Garage. For more information, call the HR department at 901-678-3573. That's 901-678-3573.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. It's your humble host, Chip Washington. Very happy to have you with us, and very happy that my first guest is with us. Now, I don't think that there's any doubt about the fact that, we are all struggling with a lot of the crime issues that are going on in our city. I don't think it helps to, turn your head or hide from it, because there's a lot going on out here. And I think one of the more high-profile, very sad occurrences happened a couple of weeks ago when the, Reverend Dr. Atura Easton Williams was killed in a carjacking at her home by 3 15-year-olds who were involved in all of this. Well, last week, there was a press conference held because there's the instantaneous debate was, do these 3 young people need to be sent straight up to the adult version of prison and jail, or stay in the juvenile justice court system? Well, the family of Dr. Easton was there at the press conference. They held a press conference, and they both all spoke very eloquently about their mom and their wishes. And someone else who was there, someone who's been out in these streets and really trying to change the system for the better, because there's some inequities. Please welcome to Real Talk Memphis, Reverend Ayanna Watkins. She is the executive director and lead organizer of MICA. And Reverend Watkins, it's so good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Good to see you too.
Absolutely. So wanted to allude to the press conference because you all were there. You were there in particular. Mm-hmm. And I guess before we move forward, tell everybody who doesn't know exactly what MIFA is. MICA is as an organization, what you all do and what you are trying to get our city and our counties to move in the same direction on.
Absolutely. So MICA is Memphis Interfaith Coalition for Action and Hope. We are an organizing coalition of over 80 faith, labor, and community organizations. Oh my. And we're joining together to give a more powerful voice for issues of justice in our city. We like to say we're an organization of organizations. And so we're trying to build on the community institutions and structures that are already in place to continue to bring attention to these issues that are plaguing our people. And frankly, sending a lot of folks to our individual congregations and nonprofits for help. This is a way for the folks who do that work to go upstream and to say, what's causing folks to have to need these services? What's causing us to get to this point in the first place? So that's what MICA is doing. We've been doing that. We had our first meeting in 2016 in October, just before the legendary election at the federal level. And just after the also legendary protest on the I-40 bridge right here in Memphis. And so it was a time, it was the right time for us. We chose the issues that we would work on in 2018. And here we are coming up on 5 years since that time.
So talk about any successes that you have seen, and more importantly, what we're looking at down the road, because I think that we're at a very critical juncture here. I mean, we've seen crime escalate in ways I hadn't seen in years. And more troubling is the fact that so many young people are committing very serious crimes. Talk a little bit about that and your agenda moving forward in terms of what you would like to see from some of these partnering organizations, because as you said, there is strength in numbers.
That's right. So as MICA, we work in 3 particular areas: economic equity, education equity, and race and class equity in the justice system. And a lot of the conversation that we have around crime tends to fall into that last pillar of work, right? Around the justice and the criminal legal system. But of course, it's fed into by the other 2. Economic inequity, education inequity. We can't untie any of those things. I was talking to someone who knew Reverend Dr. Artur very well, and she was very saddened, of course, by her death, and saddened even more deeply by the fact that children were involved. And she said recently she stopped for gas at a gas station.
Right.
And 2 very small children, maybe elementary school age, came up to her car asking her for money. And she was so astounded by their young age. She said, "Where are your parents?" And they pointed to a car nearby. She said, if I'm looking at children who are begging in the parking lot of a gas station when they can barely tie their own shoes, why are we surprised that 5 or 10 years down the road, children are doing what we consider sometimes to be grown-up crimes, right? Our children are struggling.
Yes. Yeah.
And our families are struggling. And everybody's just sort of at their wits' end. And so I agree with you. I think this is a critical point in our history. I think this is a critical point for our city and our county, and for us to say, what are we going to do to turn this thing around?
Yeah, so I mean that is the question, and I saw several folks, organizations, for justice at that press conference. Just City was there, and several others, and I know that many of you, I think a big role is to try to challenge some of our political leaders, into really starting to try to develop. But let me ask you, what is it that we need to do? What is it? I mean, what do you see as an organization that has a little teeth, that has some teeth to it, that we need to do to help these kids? Last week, I had a couple of pastors on who were very close to, Dr. Easter Williams, and the question comes up, and it's still coming up, is what do we do with juveniles who commit adult crimes? Do you think that they should be sent up, or does it depend on the case? I mean, what's the viewpoint there?
Sure. I'll tell you something, and I can tell it in Sister Ayanna's words that I heard her say at the press conference, right? Mm-hmm. When she was told by our current district attorney that these young people can be better served in adult jail, in adult detention, than they can in juvenile detention and youth detention. That is a travesty. What are we doing with our juvenile justice system if not to give children a chance to have and redeem their adult lives, right? And so I understand the argument when people say, children committing adult crimes, but these children are also facing adult-sized problems that they're not equipped to fix. What happens when you have to go to school hungry? What happens when you come home and there's no lights, no heat in the winter, no AC in the summer? And that's happening because we're having jobs for their parents that barely pay the bills, if that. And so these problems are systemic. And I know sometimes everybody doesn't want to, we want to reach for the immediate solution. And of course, I want that too. I want to be able to push a button and magically fix it.
Sure.
But I know we didn't get into this problem in a day, and we're not going to get out in a night. And so if we can really commit ourselves, first of all, to saying, once a young person commits a crime this egregious, how can we meet them with the youth justice system that was supposedly designed for their age group, and say, how can we start the rehabilitation and the restoration process? That's not saying don't put the children in the jail at all. That's not saying they don't need to have consequences for the things that they do. But can those consequences be appropriate for their development, their developmental stage? And beyond that, can we meet them, catch them, interrupt them before they even get to this place?
If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Reverend Ayanna Watkins. She is the executive director and lead organizer of Micah Memphis. And that's a very interesting point that you made in reference to the juvenile justice system, because these young people out here committing these crimes, there's no deterrent. I mean, 201 is not a deterrent. I mean, it's like a revolving door around there. And it sounds like you're really advocating for the juvenile justice system, the way they do things. It needs an overhaul. I mean, because maybe they're not. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is that where you're going with this?
I think they need to step it up, and I think they can. If we can resource the juvenile justice system with age and developmentally appropriate resources, what if we can make interventions? I used to do this work as a social worker. Before I was a community organizer, I was a social worker, and I would go to juvenile detention, and I did poetry, and I try to help folks get in touch with their feelings and unpack past traumas.
Sure.
If we can't get these children counselors, if we can't get them what they need, how? They're going to come out eventually. Right? Even if they go to adult jail, eventually they're coming out. Are we going to bring out folks with the equipment to begin to re-enter society with some strength and some do-goodery? Or are we going to leave them with the same pain that they come out with and no resources to lead a different life?
Many folks think that a lot of the problems that we see with our young people stem from the fact that they get the love and attention and maybe some kind of respect from the streets, rather from their homes. I don't subscribe to the, single parent, deal like, oh, that's a problem. No, it's not. I mean, I know plenty of single mothers who have raised wonderful human, there you go, wonderful human beings. On the serious side, this to me is, I mean, this just stays inside me because, we need to love on them. And I hear people say, you know what, this is not a them problem. This is an all of us problem. So all of us together need to start to wrap our arms around this. And I think I hear you saying the same thing as well. The problem is the juvenile justice system as it's set up is, even if you commit a heinous crime like murder, if you're under 18, you stay there until you're 18 years old and then you're out. I believe that's how it works, isn't it?
It's a lot more complicated than that. And I will leave an attorney and a judge to give you a much better explanation. But again, let's find appropriate consequences, right? We're not talking about letting somebody who committed murder out in another year, but what's an appropriate consequence for what has happened, especially given what's already happened to the child in their own life? So
really what you're doing is you're asking the base question. I mean, what can be done? Something should be done is what you're saying clearly, but what can be done is how we get all the brain trust together to figure it out. Because I'll be honest, we have very shocking events like this one, and then we have a march against gun violence, and then 2 hours later 3, 4, 5 people are shot. I think there's an availability issue of guns and weapons that is just too free, and I happen to think that some parents do need to kind of know what their kids are doing. I mean, you're living under my roof. I need to know what you're doing. Do you agree with that or no?
Oh, 100%. As parents, I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old at home right now.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I have to take care of mine. I have to know where they are. And as they continue to grow and get older and more independent, I need to know where they are 100%. But what if I had to work 2 jobs? What if I was by myself?
Yeah.
Where's the village? Yeah. Where's the village to help surround each other and make sure that everybody is watched and kept an eye on, that folks have places to go so that they don't have to turn to the streets for, as you said, this love and this attention and this affirmation. And where are the places where we can cut off some of these things even before they start, right? You're not going to solve crime by taking carjackers off the street alone. You have to do that. But if you stop there, then you've left the siblings and the cousins who now want revenge, who now are angry because their loved one is locked up, right? And now we've created another situation that's ripe for more crime. We can't keep doing it one child at a time.
The cycle continues, and it's a sad cycle that we see. But we think we're very thankful for organizations like you who bring awareness and attention to the forefront, which needs to be happening. And at some particular point in time, somebody's going to listen, and hopefully there'll be some really serious conversations about how we wrap our arms around these children, because you just brought up several points about, what about this? What about that? And what if a parent has to work 2 jobs and the kids are left alone? Those are extraordinarily important points that need to be digested and worked out at some particular point in time. But listen, I really want to thank you for coming on the show, and more importantly, what you do to help us see things better in our community, because we desperately need it. And any events, activities, or things that you have coming up down the road, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to have you back on the show.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having us, and tell people remember to vote on August 4th if you haven't already.
Amen to that. Remember to vote. Thank you so much, Reverend Ayanna Watkins. You have a good night. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
Yes, ma'am. So that was a good conversation, and there's a grain of truth in there. There's a whole bunch of it, actually. When you're thinking about our young people, a lot of folks have abandoned the concept of reach one, teach one, or it takes a village to raise a child. It takes all of that to raise these kids these days, because there's a big hole. There's something missing there. But in any event, I'm very thankful for her to take some time to talk to us this evening, and particularly about this issue. And she's right. Voting election day is Thursday. And by the way, before we go to break, we're talking about these young juveniles. There was a raid that the police department did yesterday. They rounded up 14 individuals in a carjacking ring. The youngest one, 10 years old. Think about that. We're going to break. When we come back, we're going to shift gears, and we're going to talk about Stacks. That's the music Stacks. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. Right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
This is Clark Ortiz, co-founder at Crosstown Brewing Company. We are proud to be WYXR's official beer sponsor for 2022. Memphis music deserves Memphis beer. Working with the WYXR team has been an awesome way to support local community radio and foster a deeper connection with music while doing it. Our Instagram and Facebook pages feature all the updates regarding CBC and WYXR's frequent collaborations. Enjoy following along.
Support for WYXR comes from Focal Point. Located in Crosstown Concourse, Focal Point is a Southern College of Optometry clinical facility that offers fittings with designer eyewear and eco-friendly frames. Learn more at focalpointcrosstown.com.
This is Will Goodwin, co-founder at Crosstown Brewing Company. Just like WYXR, Crosstown Brewing supports Memphis music and our neighbors who use their talents to make it. Our beers can be found at our 3,000 square foot tap room right here at the Crosstown Concourse and at your favorite bars, restaurants, and stores throughout Tennessee, Mississippi, and eastern Arkansas. Enjoy.
The FedEx St. Jude Championship celebrates 65 years of professional golf in Memphis with a new event that brings the heart of our hometown to TPC Southwind. This year's tournament features the launch of the Soul in One celebration, a festival showcasing Memphis culture, music, food, makers, and more. The event kicks off Wednesday, August 10th at 11 a.m. on Tournament Drive and includes live music from Marcella and her lovers, The Privilege, Stax Music Academy, and Brandon Lewis, along with WYXR DJs, as well as a local craft foods market and a family sports activity zone provided by Nike.
For more information, visit FedExChampionship.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. Very happy to have you with us. I see my brother Michael Washington from Los Angeles, California, checking us out tonight, as well as my friend Diane Towns. And I did see James Winfrey on there as well. So thank y'all for tuning us in and checking us out. Stax Museum is our treasure. No doubt about it. It is, when you talk about the history of music, you can't even complete the sentence without talking about Stax. Well, my next guest is someone who we all know, and she's been around the music scene for many years. And recently, she was promoted or appointed or whatever the word is. She's in charge now. How about that? Please welcome to the show, Pat Mitchell-Worley. There you go. She's the president and CEO of Soulsville Foundation, which basically covers all the aspects of Stax. And Pat, my friend, good to see you.
Good to see you too. This is so weird to be interviewed for my position at Soulsville Foundation when my radio show is on WYXR also.
Yes.
And I'm on the WYXR board. So I am dedicated to this station. So
well, that's a good thing.
Any opportunity to talk through.
That's what I'm saying, and I'm glad I got you. Station reference aside, I'm glad I got you on this show. A lot of folks are very excited for you to be here, and congratulations, by the way, on this. Congratulations, it's a big honor.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now you were over the Music Academy. Go ahead, Pat.
Yes, I was over the Music Academy for the last 4 years, so through COVID. It's really funny because I've been telling people this story because it's just a true perspective of where I feel like I am.
Right.
And I had a little panic attack the other night.
Why?
Because I realized that the legacy of Stax Records as it stands in Memphis, Tennessee, is now under my leadership.
Yeah.
And it was like this moment where I was like,
you're like, I'm in charge.
Wow.
I'm in charge of the whole thing. Like, I'm in charge. Right?
Yeah. And it's just like, oh my goodness, this is something that I love, and I love so much and feel so connected to, like a lot of us do. And so just very grateful to be in this position.
Well, listen, you've been doing this for a while, as you say, and now you're basically in charge of the whole thing. And I can understand the out of body experience. You sit back and you say to yourself, wait a minute. I'm what? I'm in charge. But so now that you are, and I know I know, exactly. I know that you're just kind of getting warmed up, but you do know the organization backwards and forwards because you were the associate director of all of this too. So let's take a forward look. In terms of what Pat Mitchell-Worley is looking at, as we move down the road in our various connective tissues we like to call Stax.
Well, I think the big things is that SMA gets back to that pre-COVID level as far as interactions and instruction for students. We've done, when COVID numbers go up, we've had students go to virtual. We have been doing COVID testing of students weekly for the last 2 years.
Sure.
And some families weren't comfortable with their students being around other students. And I feel like that we are past that, that our families have a lot of faith in the work that we do as far as keeping the kids safe. COVID was, very difficult on all of us,
everybody,
but on the arts programs, it was just like, especially for youth. So I'm excited to get the Academy back to that level that it was at before COVID. Then on the museum side, next year is the museum's 20th anniversary. So there will be a lot of announcements that go with that special year.
Sure, sure, absolutely.
So there's some surprises coming.
Well, we like surprises, so I'm not gonna make you spill it. We're just gonna wait for the surprise to come, and we'll float from there. So, but what you said was, I think everybody's starting to recover from COVID now a bit, and life is starting to return back to how it was pre-COVID. And obviously I hear what you're saying. That's a very important dynamic because, you one thing you do deal with is a lot of young people. There's a lot of young people, a lot of talented young people, a lot of, and they're in the midst of this experience. They're going to the academy, you have the museum there and everything. So that is vitally important because obviously, you're raising folks, who could be the next big thing musically, but even maybe down the road, run the organization. Talk about that.
Yeah, all of the students who attend the Music Academy, not all of them want to be the star.
Right.
They don't want to be the one with the spotlight performing.
Sure.
They may be a sideman, they play horn. They may be in production. We have a pretty dynamic production department where students learn every behind the scenes role that goes into putting on a show. We even do film. And for those students, just the opportunities that come through the program and the things that they get to do give them real world experience. Our students are volunteering and even we do placements with them. And they get jobs where they make money and they get to go out and do the things that they've been learning in the classroom and do it in the real world. So that experience has been amazing for them. So we don't know if that the student that we're looking at, the potential of people, trying to capture that and inspire young people, that person they could be the next huge star, but they could also be a person that is satisfied with the job that they have, that can make a fair living from their craft. And those are the people who are your neighbors, and their kids go to school with you, and they make up our community. So one of the things that we talk a lot about over here is your goal to be a superstar, or is it just to be able to do the thing that you love every day and to make a living doing it? And I think that comes out a lot, because a lot of students are like, yeah, if I can make a living, that's all I want.
Yes,
that's really why I create. And so we hear those conversations a lot in the Music Academy, but then also they're experiencing, jobs that they never knew existed.
Yeah.
If you're a young person, you don't really know everything that's out there and is available for you. So both ways. Then we have, like, let's say we talk about the thousands of kids who come through the museum and learn that story, and look at these young people who were the same age as they are.
Yep. Now, exactly.
who were traveling the world.
Yeah.
It's sort of mind blowing.
It is, and it has to bring forth a great sense of pride. But listen, I got to run, but I had to have you on because I've known you for a while, and was really excited, as are quite a few people out there, that you are now running the whole thing, and it's been left in wonderful hands. And so again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, the new president and CEO of Soulsville Foundation, Pat Mitchell Worley. And listen, you're always welcome back to Real Talk. So, maybe between now and again, when you have some surprises for next year's 20th anniversary, maybe I can pry a couple of those out of you before it happens. Before it happens. So.
Oh, yeah, we'll see. I'll come up with something.
I know
something
you will.
Special just for you.
I appreciate that, Pat. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on Real Talk. I really appreciate it. It's good to see you. Take care now.
Thanks.
All right.
See you later.
All right,
Bye.
great. Bye-bye. Great interview there with Pat Mitchell Worley, and she's running things now over at the Soulsville, and that's a very, very good thing for all of us. We're very excited for her, and congratulations from all of us here at Real Talk Memphis. We're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we're going to shift to the education side of things, and I'll just leave you with this tease. Have you ever wanted to fly an airplane or be a part of that industry, but didn't know how you were going to do it? Well, I have the answer after the break. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. Right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Music meets you wherever you are. A great record finds you, and the trick it pulls off is that it records you. The music always remembers who you were when it first hit you, and for the rest of your natural-born life, wherever you go, music can take you back to whoever you were. At Loaded for Bear, the way we approach art and brand design is to find our clients wherever they really are, meet them there, and create lasting work that captures who they are. Just like y'all, we're from Memphis, and we're listeners. Loaded for Bear is proud to ride for WYXR and community radio anywhere.
Clarion Security is proud to sponsor WYXR, and they are hiring at the Crosstown Concourse. Help protect the place that creates moments of discovery for us all. More information at 901-571-2065.
Mempho Music Festival returns to Radiance Amphitheater at Memphis Botanic Garden on September 30 through October 2nd. This year's fest features the excitement of the Black Keys, Widespread Panic, Wilco, Jason Isbell, Portugal the Man, Tank and the Bangers, Bobby Rush, and many more. Visit memphofest.com for ticket packages, lineup information, FAQs, and more. That's memphofest.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this beautiful Monday evening. I don't know if I asked, did you have a good week? I hope you had a good week. I had a pretty good week. Got some rain over the weekend. Things cooling down. But yeah, the heat is back, and it will be back later on this week. So I was doing some research, trying to figure out some interesting news to pass along to you fine folks out there who check this show out. And ran across a story from Tennessee, Southwest Tennessee Community College, about a program that they are initiating, and I'm to understand that it is the only program of its type in a 2-year college in the entire state of Tennessee. And we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. My guest is a return guest, Dr. Kendricks Hooker. He is the Vice President of Academic Affairs at the Tennessee Southwest Community College. And Dr. Hooker, thanks for coming, man.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm looking forward to having this conversation with you.
Yes, sir. So, you guys have started an aviation program, which I had to read a couple of times because I was really amazed, because there are right now the airline industry is having its set of challenges with staffing and a lot of other things. But I guess first and foremost, how did you all decide that this was something that you wanted to do, and talk a little bit about this particular course?
All right, so the aviation technology program, as you've already mentioned, it's one, first and foremost, it's a program that we're truly, truly excited about. Mm-hmm. It's the first of its kind in our region, because we are actually the first and only community college in the state that has an Associate of Applied Science degree in aviation operations technology.
That's great.
This particular program has 3 concentrations. It has aviation administration, it has flight dispatcher, and the one that I know most people are excited about is the professional pilot. So these 3 concentrations, we believe, is going to truly, truly assist. You just talked a little bit about the demand right now and the shortage of pilots. So sure. This is our way, our attempt to respond to that. How did all of this come about? We are very fortunate to have 2 retired ex-FedEx pilots that work with us mm-hmm. on our foundation. Mm-hmm. And these 2 gentlemen presented this to us, and they essentially informed us that there would be soon a shortage in pilots. So Southwest, being who Southwest is, it is our responsibility to be responsive. Mm-hmm. And we've done that by creating this program. So again, the level of excitement at Southwest is beyond what I'm even showing right now, but we are ecstatic about what this program could bring to this region.
Man, I completely co-sign on everything you just said. I think it's amazing because, I mean, you're offering people an opportunity at a 2-year that you just don't see, and probably, anywhere. And, you have to go through a long, drawn-out process, and I think everything has to do with timing. And you mentioned the 2 members of the board that sort of kind of knew what the signal, what the wind was about to blow in here. And we're still seeing tremendous shortages in the airline industry as a whole. So, I mean, honestly, you can take this, you can almost take this as far as you want to. I mean, and really, to talk a little bit about it, because this is a major opportunity, and it's not just about pilots, it's about, the folks in the background, the folks, there are plenty of opportunities. So talk about that part of it.
Oh, absolutely. So our goal at Southwest is to make sure that we are offering programs that will improve the socioeconomic mobility of our students. And therefore, we are collaborating and are in close contact with business and industry just to understand what their workforce needs are. And by having that understanding, we are now in a prime position to create programs such as the Aviation Operations Technology Program to make sure that we are on a consistent basis meeting workforce needs. Mm-hmm. It's important to also note that Southwest is a predominantly Black institution, right? So a program such as this would now make aviation study and flight training accessible and financially feasible for underrepresented and low-income students. Amazing. So that's what we're really, really excited about. It is safe to say the diversity in aviation has yet to leave the ground. So, and so according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, African Americans make up only 3% of airline pilots and flight engineers.
Stunned when I saw that. Stunned.
Yes.
And this is
there's work to do.
Yeah. So,
there's work to do.
So that's the entire industry. The entire airline is only 3% of folks and African Americans look like me and you that are in this.
Yes, sir.
It's a very telling thing, and it's a little shocking considering how big this country is. But does that speak to opportunities, or when you hear that, or when you saw that, what did that trigger in you when you saw that number?
Just simply, we're doing the right thing, right? We need to do more.
Confirmation.
It's important for us because again, many of our students they probably have never ever considered being a pilot.
Right.
So now that they have this program in their backyard, now they can actually see themselves as being a pilot. So that's why we're really excited about this, because this was a program. It took 2 years because it really did take 2 years for us to address all of the concerns and gaps and all of those things. So now we do believe that we have a product that will train students, that will ensure that their workforce ready. And I mean, I can't wait 2 years from now to see students graduate from this program. I just can't wait.
Can you see yourself as a college being a feeder band for the local airline industry and even nationally? Can you see this program really at some particular point, based on the success of it, being a feeder school for years to come, for pilots and other folks in the airline industry?
We hope so. Again, the goal is to make sure that when students complete this program, that they are workforce ready. And we hope that we have the American Airlines and Delta Airlines knocking on our door for our students.
Yeah.
It is our goal to make sure that we have the latest and the greatest in terms of technology. We want to make sure that we have faculty members that are trained and that are exposing students to what's happening in industry at this particular time. And I think if we do all of those things and continue to collaborate and converse with business and industry to make sure that we're on a consistent basis of addressing gaps and making sure that students are being, again, exposed to what's happening in business and industry, I think we'll do a fabulous job.
It's all about partnerships. Now, before I let you go, anyone who's interested, give them all the information they need to contact you all, and let's get this plane off the ground.
Yes, sir. So as always, the only thing that they have to do is reach out to Southwest. You can actually call us at 901-333-5000.
Okay.
Or you can email us at admissions@southwest.tn.edu.
Okay.
And our website is www.southwest.tn.edu. Listen, we're the only community college in this particular region in Memphis, Tennessee. So we're not hard to find.
Not hard to find.
And we have 7 locations, so we're not hard to find.
Nah, man, you guys are doing it. Well, listen, I really had to have you on to talk about this, and I'm really excited for you and for the entire Tennessee Southwest Community College community, because this is a big deal here. This is the big deal. People want opportunities. They want opportunities. They're crying because there aren't any. This is a great opportunity. So congratulations to you all out there, and all the best. And you know what? Let's us partner up. If you have some interesting academic issues coming down the road, some things that our folks should know about, you know where to find me.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And more to come. We are in the process now, similar to the aviation operations technology program. We're constantly, again, meeting with business and industry, identifying what their workforce needs are, and developing those programs to meet those needs.
Dr. Kendricks Hooker, Vice President, Academic Affairs, Tennessee Southwest Community College. Thanks for coming on Real Talk, and I really appreciate you, and congratulations again.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Well, there you go. So that's a nice way to wrap up the show. And I mean, when you think about the fact that the statistics show that there are only 3% of African Americans in the airline industry in whatever capacity is in, that's a very, very big deal. And I hope that someone listens tonight or tells somebody that you listened tonight and heard about this. And if somebody's interested in that, you know what? Send them over to Tennessee Southwest Community College. I mean, this is a very great opportunity, and rare. It's the only one in the state of Tennessee. So I want to thank all my guests tonight. This has been fun. We spoke with Reverend Ayanna Watkins from MICA. She was the executive director and lead organizer. We also spoke with Pat Mitchell-Worley. She's the newly named president and CEO of the Soulsville Foundation. And, of course, we just finished up with Dr. Kendricks Hooker. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for paying attention to what we do around here on this little radio show. I have a small platform, and it's every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. I see my friend Ward Lindsay is checking us out, and my barber and pastor, well, he's not my pastor, but he is a pastor, Carlos J. Rogers Sr., he's checking us out, as well as Cynthia Davis, too. She's checking us out as well. Let's see here. Diane Towns watching us tonight, and Miss Nicholson, you checking us out. I haven't seen you in a minute. I'm glad to see you back on the old Facebook Live. So listen, if you like the show and you like what we do and you like how we do what we do, tell a friend. We are just short of 500 members of the Real Talk Radio Show fans page. And as what time is it? We got another minute. I'm gonna ramble. How much more time we got? A couple minutes? Okay, yeah. Lola behind the board tonight. So yeah, okay. She's keeping the clock on me. So listen, we're trying to do some things around here. We have almost 500 members of our radio fans show page. So you know what? We'd like you to check us out. You know, we're a friendly bunch around here, and we provide information. And more importantly, I want you to get more involved in the show. When you hear certain guests or when you hear certain things that are said, or you have some thoughts and suggestions about how we can continue to grow the show and make it better, because that's my goal, is to make this show stand up and stand out. And as Lola plays us out, once again, I'm very grateful to each and every one of you. Spread the word, okay? Pass the word. Please pass the word, okay? It's important, because if we can become something here, then we can become something out there. You understand what I'm saying to you? So as we get out of here, I'm very thankful to have the opportunity to sit in this chair every week. I really appreciate it more than you ever know, and it is my favorite time of the entire week, hanging out with you all for an hour. So for Nicole, for Lola, and my possible third person who will grill and work her in. We'll see what happens with that. Seriously, very grateful and thankful. If the Lord says so, we will be back here, same time, the same chair, and try to do it just a little bit better. So for all of us at Real Talk Memphis, I'm Chip, and I'm out. Have a great week.